Many of you know about the importance of car seats, baby gates, and other items to protect and keep your children safe. But did you know the best way is to have them vaccinated? According to the National Institute of Health, or NIH, they state that vaccines save 2.5 million children from preventable diseases every year, which equates roughly to about 285 children saved per hour. Simply put, vaccinations save lives. Here we will explore why vaccinations work, why some parents choose not to vaccinate, and what is happening now because of those choices. Claims have been made over the years regarding the safety of these vaccinations and how parents are now choosing to opt out of having vaccines, of having children vaccinated. But with these decisions to delay or reject vaccines comes an important responsibility that could save your child's life or the life of someone else. Smallpox was a contagious and often deadly disease that affected humans for thousands of years. The last case of smallpox in the United States was in 1948. The last case in the world was in 1977, and that was in Somalia. Children no longer are vaccinated against smallpox because the disease no longer exists due to the vaccinations. Smallpox was declared eradicated in 1980. It was one of the most remarkable achievements in the history of medicine, and amazing statistics to remember are that millions died from smallpox every year. Now the disease is gone. The World Health Organization estimated that vaccinations prevent 2 to 3 million deaths per year in all age groups. And up to 1.5 million children die each year due to diseases which could have been prevented by vaccinations. They estimate that 29% of the deaths of children aged 0 to 59 months in 2013 were vaccine preventable. The history of smallpox and its eradication proves that vaccinations work, but how do they affect the human body? Vaccines protect against diseases like measles, mumps, rubella, influenza, and many others. Vaccinations work by preparing your body to fight this illness. Vaccines protect not only yourself, your children, but others around you. Vaccines protect the community. Young children going to school can be exposed to vaccine-preventable diseases from teachers, other adults, brothers, sisters, by traveling, by going to daycare. Vaccines protect the herd. A herd immunity means that percent of people need to be vaccinated to provide herd immunity. A percentage of the population is vaccinated against a contagious disease, and it is unlikely that an outbreak will occur. Children and adults who cannot be vaccinated due to age, poor health, or those who are immune compromised, which, for example, means undergoing chemotherapy, rely on the herd immunity to prevent and protect them from them getting the disease. These children depend on others to be vaccinated to protect them. Most schools today, in today's society, are peanut-free schools. This rule is made to protect those children who are highly allergic to peanuts and nuts alike. We want to protect all children, so why not protect them against diseases that we can control with a vaccination? There are many families who have taken the anti-vax vow and will not have their children immunized. Some parents object to vaccines because they were concerned about an overload of the immune system, and others because of the use of human fetal tissue in the vaccines, animals for testing, and a variety of other reasons. Some parents believe that there are too many side effects and contain harmful substances, such as mercury or thimerosal. Thimerosal is a mercury-containing preservative that is added to vials of vaccines that contain more than one dose to prevent contamination and growth of potentially harmful bacteria. In 1988, The Lancet published an article that was written by Dr. Wakefield. Dr. Wakefield's research suggested that there was a correlation between the MMR vaccine and autism. According to Dr. Wakefield and his research team, it was the thimerosal within the MMR that was causing the autism. Since the statement was made, all the partners in his research, along with the original Lancet article, have been retracted. The retractions are acknowledgement that the research done here on the correlation between MMR and autism are inclusive. According to the CDC, thimerosal is not used as a preservative in routinely recommended childhood vaccinations since 2002. These statements were a large part of why parents were opting out of vaccinations, along with their own personal beliefs. To be fair, there are traces of aluminum, formaldehyde, located within these vaccinations, but they are very small and safe doses. There's more aluminum contained in breast milk and baby formula than there is in a single dose of vaccine. Today's non-vax parents believe that fighting disease off naturally is the best solution for their children. Fighting off diseases naturally can cause more complications, hospitalization, or even death. With immunizations, the person becomes protected against a disease through the vaccination. Most side effects with vaccinations are very mild and are uncommon, but like with any medication, there is a risk. I like to think of a risk as getting into a car and putting on my seatbelt. Seatbelts have been proven to save lives, but yet there are still people who do not wear seatbelts. As parents, what are the risks you are willing to take for your child's lives? Public opinion is influenced greatly by the mainstream media. With the internet at the ready for anyone to access, it is difficult to distinguish what is correct and what is incorrect. It is no difference for the non-vax movement. Dr. Wakefield published his article in The Lancet. It was never approved by the Ethics Committee. During a televised press conference, the media outlets uncritically presented Wakefield's proclamation regarding this correlation between autism and MMR vaccination, despite scientific proof. This set in motion a rapid decrease in the vaccination of children against these diseases. Clearly, the media can serve to protect the public interest, but more often than not, they fail to do so, which is proved in this case without stating the true scientific fact. Parents want to protect their children as much as possible, and as much as they love their children, some parents still choose not to vaccinate their children. Danielle Stringer is a pediatric nurse in Chandler, Arizona. She became the youngest nurse practitioner in the United States after graduating with her master's at the age of 18. Danielle was against vaccinations due to her upbringing. Her parents believed that vaccinations were harmful due to the stories that they had heard. So they surrounded themselves with others who felt the same way. Danielle was in fear of graduating from grad school, knowing that she would have to give these vaccinations to these children against her beliefs. It was not until she needed to write a thesis, which she chose to do on the adverse effects of vaccinations and the children suffering from them, that her thought process had changed. There was nothing to base her thesis on. The evidence was not there. She found, in fact, with her research, that vaccines are incredibly safe and effective. Stories like Danielle's are aplenty. She had been told for so long the adverse effects of immunizations, but when it came down to it, science proved her wrong. Parents need to understand the risks and responsibilities when choosing not to vaccinate. Traveling with a child that has not been vaccinated could put other children, not only yours, at risk. When we talk about vaccinations and travel, it comes to mind the recent measles outbreak in California. It started at Disneyland and has expanded with 121 confirmed cases since February 6, reports the CDC. This outbreak is a multi-state outbreak, now expanding over 7 states. Schools are asking those who have not been vaccinated to stay home and to not come back until they either get vaccinated or until the outbreak is over. Pediatrician offices are banning those who have not been vaccinated to protect their other patients. The majority of the people who got these measles were unvaccinated. So far this year, there have already more cases of measles than during an entire typical year. Between 2001 and 2011, the median number of measles case reported in the year was 62. One father, Dr. Tim Jacks, wrote a letter to the parent of the unvaccinated child who exposed his family to measles. Dr. Jacks has a young son who is 10 months old and is not of age to get vaccinated, and has a 90% chance of getting the measles. His daughter, who is a 5-year-old, has an incomparable disease due to her cancer. His daughter was on a break from chemotherapy for 3 weeks when he got the call from their doctor that they had been exposed to measles. For this, the only protection for his family and for others was to go into isolation. This angry father and pediatrician knows what may happen to his compromised daughter if she gets the measles. Parents, educate yourself. Learn what vaccines can do for your child and for the community. The history of vaccinations have proven itself over time with the eradication of smallpox. We have explored why vaccines work, why some parents choose not to vaccinate, and what happens now because of those choices. Even with the scientific knowledge, there are still claims that have been made over the years regarding the safety of some routine childhood vaccinations. But with these decisions to delay or reject vaccines come an important responsibility that you as adults need to make. Now, suppose you could make your child safe from most of the deadly diseases in history. As a parent, you could also help protect your neighbors, children, and other children around the country from the same disease. You could actually help to rid the entire world of the same diseases that have been crippling and killing children for centuries. Yes, we as parents can do all of this if we just get our children vaccinated.